Every now and then you guys will hear me put up a video where I have an argument that it repeats throughout some of the things I say. And it's because I found a point that's hard to refute, hard to argue against, because I spend a lot of time arguing with college students. I do that most of the time I'm at work. And it's because the brain is like any other muscle. You have to exercise it. Use it. Otherwise, it'll atrophy. And you'll start doing shit like believing what you hear on Breitbart, Fox News, or naturalnews.net. And honestly, none of those are really good news stations. But Fox is better than no news at all. The trick is when you listen to the news, you have to listen to it with a spin, which is the bias that the reporter and that the station put on it. You have to listen without the spin on it. You have to unspin the story. You know, I mean, if it's a job, you hear that it's a job-killing bill. Well, what jobs are they killing? That's the first question I've always asked with a thing that's, it's a job-killing bill. Like, if you found a way to give everybody universal health care, no matter what, let's say you decided to start paying with it, paying for hospital costs out of your taxes. You know, doctors got X amount of money every year for working at a particular place, or that hospital gets X amount of dollars every year. You know, whatever it works out to. Hang on. Not to sound like I'm distracted, but that's the danger of making these while I'm driving around at work, is that... Anyway, let's say they come up with a way for universal health care that in the end, you don't have to ever talk to an insurance agent ever again. Well, technically, that would be a job-killing law. It would be a job-killing measure, because what about the jobs of all those poor insurance agents who now have no way to support their family? What about those guys? And that's where spin is important, because to be honest, fuck those jobs. We don't need them. And if you enjoy that job in the path that it usually takes, then fuck you too. Hang on a moment. You ordered Apollos?
Yes, thank you.
You have a great evening?
You too.
There's some jobs that should be killed. Some that should be wiped out. Taken right the fuck off the map. They go the way of the dinosaur. Some of them are just wrong. We don't... Like people who make cobblestone streets. Do you really need cobblestone streets anymore? No, nobody uses them. They're costly to produce and maintain, and tech has moved on. And that's the key. The key right there is that tech moves on. We end up with people holding jobs that the technology has moved on. That there's no purpose in these jobs. Hang on. 2, 1. It's not a cash order, it's already paid, so I don't need to get anything. Just get them their food. Personally, it's not that difficult a thing in my mind to have universal health care. I mean, depending on the size of the hospital, it should tell you. Hey, that's you guys. Have a good night. tell you how much funds it gets. Sure, there's still the option for private grants, that kind of thing. But send out so the money to pay the hospitals comes out of my fucking taxes. Why can't we do that? I mean, there's a lot of stuff my taxes goes to pay for that I ain't entirely cool with. Wars in the Middle East, you know, some of the politics that have led to huge disparity in education. There's a lot of shit my taxes go for that I'm not perfectly fucking happy about. But for the most part, I don't bitch about most of it. Because honestly, a lot of the stuff is for the betterment of the group as a whole. Like Social Security. I think we should have Social Security. There should be some form of human services benefits, welfare of some kind. I mean, should we act like dicks to our neighbors just because we're all a bunch of greedy, resource-hungry monsters? No, we shouldn't. I don't like to use words like treat our fellow man with respect, because respect doesn't mean the word that people keep trying to use it, as it is not. Respect has a different definition than it means when people say you should respect others' opinions. No, you should not at all ever, just off the fucking cuff, respect someone else's opinion. That's not what the word respect means. There's a lot of jobs in this country we could probably do without. There's some jobs that we could totally keep around. Like we have mounted police officers here in Columbus, Ohio. Why in the fuck do we still have mounted police officers here in Columbus, Ohio? Not even the question of who cleans up their fucking shit, because the answer to that, boys and girls, is nobody. I'm a delivery driver. I drive around OSU campus all the time, and you know what I see when they got the mounted police out? Horse shit everywhere. And does anybody clean it up? They got a guy coming along with a fucking shovel to take care of it? No. So there's a question. Rather than ask, why don't we have a guy whose job it is to go around and clean up the horse shit with a shovel? Why not? A better question is, why in the fuck are the cops still riding on horseback? I mean, honestly, let's think about that. It can't really be good for the horses to be, you know, riding around on fucking pavement. I mean, this is why they have to have horseshoes. There doesn't seem to be any useful point to having horse-mounted police. Numbers, where's my numbers? Oh, it's on the other side here. So rather than ask, like, you know, what are we going to do about these jobs that are going to go away when we, you know, do this or this, ask yourself if a better question is, do we still need these jobs? Would doing this actually help us get rid of a bunch of useless jobs? And sure, they're employed, they're paying their taxes, yada, yada, yada. The economy grows. But these are jobs that are, simply put, useless. Waste. Taking up space. Telephone sanitizers and shit like the Golga Frenchians. And I'm not suggesting we toss our useless third off into space and die from a plague. But it wouldn't be the worst thing that could happen. God, I hate these delivery bags. Watch the side. Any kind of moisture, they start coming apart. Yeah. You have a good night. We'll see you later, sir. Our bosses don't go cheap on the food we serve. But if they can save $2 or $3 per bundle of paper bags that we use to put the food in. Yeah, they will. Yeah, you know, it's a paper bag, and it's a juicy fucking euro. So you're gonna run into some problems there. I suppose, in the grand American scheme of things, we could hire somebody to prevent the euro sauce from leaking and making the bags go apart. But that would cost extra money. My bosses ain't doing that. So there's an idea. Take part of the tax money, all that fucking loot that goes into Medicaid, and you start paying the hospitals. Now, this does mean that people like doctors and nurses will be making a whole lot less money than the six figures that many of them make already. But again, so what? So this doctor will only be able to make $150,000 a year at this cancer facility, rather than $250,000 a year at the same cancer facility. All right. You know, a huge portion of where the monetary issues with our medical system come from is because of things like malpractice suits and the number of attorneys involved in the process. If we could get rid of these people, it's the lawyers involved in every aspect of it. We could totally have universal health care, but you guarantee it would be presented by the insurance lobby as a job-killing bill, as an attack, a direct attack on their way of life. And it kind of would be. It would kind of intentionally be an attack on the insurance companies and their way of life. And there should be. So when you hear spin, when you hear marketing, when you hear the media try and tell you that a thing is one way, stop and think about it for a minute. Are the people telling it that way because that's the way they want you to see it, or because that's the way it actually is? There are three sides to every story. There's yours, there's mine, and then there's the truth. And frequently the truth is somewhere between where you and I stand. I keep hearing this shit about Trump is supposed to be draining the swamp. And I don't think he's actually draining the swamp. I think what he's doing is, if he's draining the swamp, it's so that they can get the logging trucks in there and haul all the fucking trees out. You know, because that's where we're headed. He doesn't want to fix anything. He wants to profit off of it. And you guys can't figure that out? And by you guys, I mean you fucking less than 27% of the American registered voter pool that voted for Donald Trump. You guys. You haven't figured out that you've been fleeced? Because either you've been fleeced or you're part of the fucking scam. You're part of the deal. So, I mean, you ain't figured it out yet? You figured it out, right? That he ain't your buddy. The first thing he fucking did when he got in was started signing executive orders to try and destroy all the shit that the Republicans have been wanting to destroy for, the last 8 years. This is it. This is the American response to a black president. Donald J. Trump. Man, I made a joke when Mitt Romney ran that you couldn't get much more white American businessman than Mitt Romney if you had tried to get Donald Trump. And lo and behold, anyway, time to go back to pretending like I'm at work. Boop.